Ever been on a date and wondered why it went horribly wrong? You're not alone. Welcome to the wild, unpredictable, and sometimes downright confusing world of dating. It's a realm filled with awkward first date conversations, misinterpreted signals, and embarrassing mishaps. We've all been there, haven't we? We've all had those moments where we've left a date and thought, well, that could have gone better. It's perfectly normal to make mistakes when navigating the dating scene. In fact, it's these blunders that help us learn, grow, and ultimately improve our dating game. Because let's face it, dating can be as tricky as solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. It's also about discovering new people, sharing experiences, and creating memorable moments. So buckle up as we explore some of the most common dating mistakes you might be guilty of. Reading signals can be like trying to understand a foreign language. Imagine being in a bustling city where you don't speak the local dialect. That's how it can feel when you're navigating the dating world and trying to decipher the signals your date is sending. Let's dive into some common scenarios. You're out on a date and your partner seems to be laughing at all your jokes. You may take this as a sign that they're into you, but they could just be polite or have an infectious laugh. Or perhaps you're texting late into the night and you interpret this as a signal of interest. But maybe your date is just a night owl or enjoys having someone to chat with. Misunderstanding these signals can lead to awkward situations. You might think you're on the same page, only to find that your expectations are worlds apart. This can lead to disappointment, confusion, and even heartbreak. It's like following a map that leads you to a dead end instead of the treasure you were hoping to find. But don't despair. There are ways to navigate this tricky terrain. The first step is to understand that signals can be subjective. What one person considers a signal of interest, another might consider just being friendly. It's crucial not to jump to conclusions based on your interpretations alone. So how can you better understand these signals? Communication is key. Don't be afraid to ask questions to clarify things. If you're unsure whether your date is interested or just being polite, ask them. It might feel awkward, but it's better to know where you stand than to make assumptions that could lead to misunderstandings. And remember, it's not just about understanding the other person's signals, but also about being clear with your own. Make sure you're sending clear and intentional signals to avoid any confusion. In the end, it all boils down to this. Dating is not a guessing game. It's a dance of getting to know each other, understanding each other's signals, and communicating effectively. Remember, when in doubt, it's better to ask than to assume. Ever felt like you're interviewing your date rather than having a conversation? It's a common scenario, right? You're sitting across from your date, and every question you ask feels like you're ticking off a checklist. You're not alone in this, and it's not entirely your fault. We live in a world where we're taught to be efficient, to gather information quickly. But a date shouldn't feel like a job interview. So what's the solution? It's all about balance. It's about knowing when to share and when to listen. It's about being genuinely interested in the other person, but also letting them get to know you. It's about creating a conversation that flows naturally, like a beautiful dance. Now let's talk about some common mistakes. One of the biggest culprits is dominating the conversation. It's a date, not a monologue. If you're doing all the talking, you're not giving your date a chance to express themselves. It's equally important not to go to the other extreme. Showing too little interest can come off as disinterested or aloof. So how can you create engaging and meaningful conversations? Here are a few tips. First, ask open-ended questions. These are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. They encourage your date to share more about their experiences, thoughts, and feelings. Second, show empathy. Respond to what your date is saying with understanding and consideration. This shows that you're not just listening, but you're also emotionally engaged. Third, be authentic. Share stories about your life, your interests, your dreams. But remember, it's not about impressing your date with how amazing you are, it's about letting them see the real you. And finally, be patient. Good conversation takes time. It's not about rushing to fill every silence. Sometimes those quiet moments can create the most meaningful connections. Remember, a good conversation is like a tennis match. It should go back and forth. So next time you're on a date, Imagine you're on a tennis court. Serve the ball, wait for it to come back, and enjoy the game. Ever felt like things are moving too fast or too slow in your relationship? It's a common dilemma that many of us face. Setting the right pace in a relationship can be challenging. It's like trying to find the perfect rhythm in a dance, where both partners need to move in sync. One of the common mistakes we make is either rushing into things or dragging the relationship. We get excited, we get impatient, and before we know it, we're either sprinting ahead or lagging behind. But the truth is, every relationship has its own unique tempo, and it's crucial to find that balance. So how do we avoid this pitfall? It's all about communication. Discuss your expectations, share your feelings. It's okay to take things slow, and it's okay to take things fast, as long as both parties are comfortable. Remember, the best relationships are not rushed, but built over time. So there you have it, some common dating mistakes you might be making. We've navigated the tumultuous seas of the dating world together, unmasked the mystery of misinterpreted signals, and polished the art of conversation. We've also learned how to set the pace in a relationship. Remember, it's all about balance, understanding, and most importantly, learning from our blunders. Each one of us has had our share of dating mishaps, and that's okay. In fact, that's more than okay. It's part of the journey. These stumbles, these faux pas, they're stepping stones to becoming a better version of ourselves, a more understanding partner, and ultimately, a pro in the dating game. So why not share your own dating misadventures and lessons learned in the comments below? Let's create a community where we can learn from each other's experiences. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.